Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. Been a fun week down here for me, man. UFC 299's coming on up. You know, the Heat, they're on a fun little road trip. Your Miami Dolphins making a lot of headlines this week. But finally for something positive, because it felt, it's been very, very dreary lately. And I will touch on something a bit of a downer in here in just a second with Xavien Howard. But the news this afternoon is Jonnu Smith is signing with the Miami Dolphins. 2-year deal, $10 million for the pass-catching tight end, which I'm very, very excited about. I love the idea of Mike McDaniel adding a tight end weapon that he respects, that he picks, that he is crafting out here to add to this offense, which I believe he had said to Greg Olsen at one point, that is kind of the next evolution, is to get the tight end involved. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Pause up, former FIU Panther bringing it. And I saw that Tyreek Hill very excited about it on social media. You see Smith himself posting himself in the Photoshop of the Miami Dolphins uniform. I just think it's fun, man. I want to see it's just more. It's been more enjoyable to say, all right, well, let's see what some of the plan has been, because for right now we're all kind of in the dark on this stuff. Although I will say that it seems like a lot of defensive pieces are leaving, but we don't know what the makeup pieces are going to be. With the offense, we know who the quarterback's going to be. We know who the star receivers are going to be. We have a good idea who's going to be there in the backfield. Maybe you'll have a little bit more of a diet to Devon Achane this year, but that tight end position and having guys who are a little bit beefier, a little bit bigger to go and get you some catches when you need some size, man, that is valuable. It was just such a missing piece last year, and especially with somebody that Mike McDaniel really trusts. You had Chase Claypool. Pretty clearly didn't seem like he had all of the plays down. Didn't seem like the coach trusted him all that much. The tight ends that you have, Durham Smythe, they did not look at him in the red zone at all this year. So it definitely felt like something they needed an injection of. They needed a little bit more life to it, a little bit more spice to their offensive repertoire. So to make this move, I think it's an exciting thing, because you looked into this offseason, you're like, all right, what are the obvious things that are going to – there's going to be some questions with the offensive line, and we'll see what ends up happening if Robert Hunt, is – I always got my Leroy hat on, Robert Smith. Robert Hunt is going to end up staying. Saw that he was working out of the facility. I think that's much ado about nothing. I think that, they're not going to kick him out. I don't think his key card is deactivated yet. So he's likely just getting getting his workout, his routine in, which is great for him. But I do like the idea that, all right, the Dolphins recognized something last year that definitely needed an improvement, and a guy who can do both for Mike McDaniel, be a good pass catcher, be a weapon, and also not give it away so much that they're going to be passing like they did with Mike Gesicki. Because clearly when Gesicki was here, there just wasn't the respect that any team had to really give, because they knew when he's out there, he ain't blocking for anybody. The other thing with Jonnu is the idea that he had a good year last year with the Atlanta Falcons after 2 stinkers with New England. But can I really blame? I mean, you got McCorkle as your quarterback. How am I supposed to hold anything, and I mean anything, against you when you had McCorkle? You had those boobs called. Wasn't he there one of the years where they had the Keebler Elf, Matt Patricia, calling plays, the defensive coordinator who was the offensive coordinator? What am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to hold that against him? Am I supposed to hold that against our FIU alum? No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that with Jonnu Smith. So all in all, exciting move for the Miami Dolphins. I wouldn't call it a whale. I wouldn't call it a big splash, but I just think, this is a nice little addition. And I think the thing that I like with Mike McDaniel and this offense, and when they recognize somebody, like, he believes that he could trust him to pick this offense up and do some important things, some productive things. Yeah, they took the flyer on Chase Claypool, but, for the most part, when this guy recognizes a piece, especially you look at the running backs, who's not going to know how to unlock Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? But when he recognizes a piece and thinks he can contribute, typically it ends up being a good thing for Mike McDaniel, and especially putting up some big time yards. But the other thing too is like you need some kind of a threat in the red zone. Like the amount of times last year that they try and run the fade route to Tyreek Hill, and it worked like one time. And so yeah, you just kind of need those opportunities where Tua can just throw it up and make some things happen. And I think Smith is going to be able to do that for Miami. On the negative side of things today, because there has been plenty of that in Dolphins land, Xavien Howard let everybody know that the door is shut. He is not coming back. He was on the Joe Rose show today as I was driving into the studio. Heard X on with Big Dog, and if you guys didn't hear the clip, here it was Xavien Howard being asked about Chris Greer's comments that the door was open.
By the way, I know you got injured at the end of the year, so Chris Greer did say, hey, I just want everybody to know the door is open potentially. Do you see yourself potentially coming back, obviously at the right price? Could you see yourself still coming back and playing for the Dolphins, or have you kind of like, nah, it's probably time to move on?
That door is closed. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. I did not hear that at all, though, but I know that door is closed, though.
I love a couple of things about this. One, I love how adorably Xavien Howard just like, that door is closed. I'm sorry. Like, he's being so polite to Joe, because Joe kind of is like presenting it with something hopeful. Hey, man, like, are you any possibility that you are going to be back? Chris Greer made it seem like, this is a possibility that you can make a return to the Miami Dolphins. And Xavien Howard's like, that door is closed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to inform you that door is not opening it up, Joe. In fact, it is closed. And look, two things that I think when GMs say them, I immediately scoff at them and think there's no shot. And one of them is the door is open for a return. I mean, you're the one who opened the door in the first place and just, I guess, left the door open. I don't know if you put a door stop on. I don't know if, like, something is just wedging it open. I don't know how open we're talking about. I don't know if there's a key under the mat. I don't know which way you want to look at that. But anytime a GM says the door is open, I'm always like, okay, dude. Which has me nervous, which, Jerome Baker, same thing. And then this whole earned his right to be a free agent. That's a new one that coaches are throwing out. The coaches, GMs, they love saying, this guy earned his right to be a free agent. It's like his contract. He didn't earn a right to be a free agent. His contract ran out. You guys didn't deem him worthy of the pay that he wanted. And now he's going to find somebody who is going to want to pay him what he thinks he deserved. He earned the right to be a free agent. It's almost like they were like it was the secret code that the GMs and the coaches are trying to hold back from the guy. You earned a right to be a free agent. But if you don't recall, this is what Chris Greer said on Xavien Howard just a mere 10 days ago.
So we had a long discussion, and he understood it was a business decision, and at the end of the day, we just felt it was right for him to have this opportunity for his agent to go see what's out there for him, but didn't close the door on us. We didn't. We said we're going to stay in communication and as the process goes and see what happens, and left the door open for him possibly coming back here too.
All right. So Chris Greer's like, hey, we're doing you guys. You go look and you see what's out there. We're not closing the door. And I think Xavien Howard, I think the way I don't remember it going like that. I'm sorry. I went, phoom. The door is closed, dude. The door be closed. And it wasn't even the first time that he mentioned it, or the only time that he mentioned it, too, because he was talking about this with Cam Smith, too, because he was like, oh, well, what are the expectations of Cam Smith? And he goes, and he mentioned Xavien Howard again. I
think so it'll be good. And then obviously we'll be bringing in some other people here, too, and maybe X is back. Who knows? Yeah,
so he's talking about the cornerbacks, but he goes, maybe we'll bring it in, and who knows? Maybe X will be back. So it was odd that Chris Greer found the need to mention it multiple times, that Xavien Howard, and maybe that's just an affinity he has for him because he is one of his best draft picks or whatever. I don't know. But I found that all to be very funny that Xavien Howard's like, that door is closed. I'm sorry, Joe. He's like telling Joe, I'm sorry, dude. But look, No surprise on my once everything came out social media wise, I thought like this dude's saying goodbye. His agent seemed thrilled that he's going to have offers. I'm very scared that Houston is going to take him and Christian Wilkins from the Miami Dolphins. And hopefully that they can get something, out of Cam Smith this year, and they can get something out of their young guys. I saw some photos of Cater Co, who got picked on a little bit this year, but man, he looks in incredible shape already in this offseason. And I do wonder, part of me wonders with this Dolphins defensive plan, because you don't know what the future is of the pass rushers immediately health-wise. Are the Dolphins almost punting on the defense? I don't want to speculate. Who knows? We're going to get a lot of answers next week once free agency opens. But it just makes you wonder, like, what is the plan there? Because they do not feel like they have a lot of set pieces on that side of the football. On the other end of things, though, with getting Jonnu Smith, the offense, it seems like it's got it adds another component that's going to make it really, really formidable and hard to cover.